Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about Black Panther again. The new movie's set to come out this weekend, so I thought it would be a good time to dive into some of the comic book characters' background. And I also want to look into the story's main location, Wakanda, a hidden country in the heart of Africa that's portrayed as not only highly prosperous, it's even advanced and futuristic compared to the rest of the modern world. But there is a catch. No immigrants allowed. That's right. Wakanda's not only hidden, it's also a fiercely protected secret, which the Wakandans will kill to keep from getting out. This is evidence from the trailer.
I'm the only one who's seen it and made it out alive.
So Andy Serkis's character is the only person to see Wakanda and make it out alive, meaning there have been others who found it and they were either never allowed to leave or, more likely, the Wakandans killed them to keep their home secret. I would also say it's heavily implied that this scene of Black Panther fighting is placed next to this dialogue to show that he's defending Wakanda's secret from these intruders. And Wakanda's own people hardly even leave there themselves, besides its leaders going on the occasional diplomatic trip, as we saw in Captain America Civil War, and we all saw how poorly that turned out. With all that said, I think it's already pretty easy to say Wakanda is a virtual ethnostate for black people, or more specifically, the Wakandan blacks in Africa. And not only is their ethnostate isolationist, it's literally hiding itself from the world. There are two main ways I can see them doing that from the trailer. First, there are multiple times outsiders claim Wakanda is a third world country.
You're telling me that the king of a third world country runs around in a bulletproof catsuit?
And then Andy Serkis makes the reveal we already saw, saying that third world country stuff was a front. This means Wakanda pretends to be poor, suffering, and third world, like much of Africa. This ruse keeps most of the people of the world from wanting to go there. And it also helps hide their wealth and technology, which we see multiple clips of. That brings us to Wakanda's next trick to hiding their success. You might have wondered how no one was able to see all the towers, high-tech trains, and other signs of Wakanda's health from the outside world. Well, the neighboring countries and orbiting satellites can't see into Wakanda for two reasons. Firstly, I'm pretty sure a lot of their exotic locations are hidden underground and in mountains, stuff like that. But not all of it. There are still many buildings and cities on the ground level and, well, those are all hidden by this high-tech force field thing that masks the whole nation. You can briefly see one of their ships fly through it in this scene from the trailer here. Now that we've seen and explained how Wakanda is an ethnostate, let's move on and talk about Black Panther himself, specifically, because funny enough, Black Panther is quite the nationalist when you think about it. And not only that, he's also got a lot more in common with the alt-right than you think. Let me explain. First of all, Black Panther is a stark nationalist who continually advocates for the independence of Wakanda, his homeland, which is a racially homogenous ethnostate by design. Wakanda is for Wakandans, so to speak. Black Panther puts his kingdom first at all costs, above all others. And the only time he even appears to be helping others is ultimately in order to help himself and Wakanda at the end of the day. For example, back to his first appearance in Civil War, in which he teams up with Iron Man's side of the battle to seemingly save the world. Well, this of course in turn saves Wakanda too, but there are also maybe even more selfish reasons for Black Panther participating here. You see, in the comics, Black Panther joined the Avengers multiple times too, but in the beginning, it was discovered his intentions weren't so noble and altruistic, not like they first thought. The comic book Black Panther joined the Avengers partly to spy on them and to see what the heroes were up to. He was scouting them in order to again protect his kingdom from possibly being threatened by them in the future. And this subplot isn't confirmed to be a part of the Marvel movies yet, but one could easily assume that the film version of Black Panther has a similar agenda too.
I know we're not perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
Next, let's talk more about the Kingdom of Wakanda, which is a hereditary monarchy. They don't practice democracy there. In fact, they prefer their king's rule over it. Now, I'm not sure if all of the alt-right is this extreme and anti-democracy, but there's certainly a slew of quotes and articles of alt-righters arguing against it. Take a look at these two articles from the altright.com. For example, the first called, "If you want free speech, get rid of democracy," and the second is plainly titled, "Democracy isn't working." And with that said, it looks like anti-democracy joins nationalism in similar beliefs beliefs that both Black Panther and the alt-right hold. But it doesn't end there. Let's talk about a few other things both parties are against, like globalism for starters. Black Panther is anti-globalist, of course. Wakanda is not only hiding its wealth from the world in order to keep it to itself, it's also dealing with the world on bad faith. Putting up a front that makes your country look third world and poor is a pretty elaborate ruse in order to keep your resources to yourself. Which, by the way, Wakanda's claim to fame is its rare mineral called vibranium, which is a nearly indestructible metal that's used on Captain America's shield and in Black Panther's suit. Vibranium is more valuable than gold, platinum, uranium, or anything really. And instead of entering the global market and allowing the rest of the world to have their chance at buying vibranium, no, Black Panther and Wakanda keep it all to themselves. So clearly they're not for globalism, the European Union, or George Soros type shit. None of that. Again, Wakanda is for Wakandans.
The Black Panther has been the protector of Wakanda for generations. Now it is time to show the outside world who we are.
And another thing both the alt-right and Black Panther are against is multiculturalism. Like we went over before, Wakanda is a blacks-only ethnostate. That means no immigrants, no refugees, and no racial quotas or none of that bullcrap. Black Panther doesn't support multiculturalism because he, like the alt-right, they all know it will eventually lead to their people's demise, or integration. And also, there's no upside to multiculturalism that I've heard yet. Liberals and leftists just push it as this noble, altruistic, we gotta save the world and let everyone in from shithole countries in order to save them. Fuck that. I mean, I feel sorry for other countries and poor people, of course, but I'm not gonna sacrifice my country, my people, my health and well-being just to save some refugees who won't even be grateful or respectful when they get here anyway. And it's easy to say Black Panther and Wakanda feel the same way, or close to it. Think about it. Wakanda is a hidden nation in Africa, the most crime-ridden, dictator-run, dangerous and poor continent in the world. I'm sure the wealth created from all that vibranium could have gone around a bit and helped the continent as a whole, but no. Wakanda kept it all to themselves. And even its closer East African neighbors got ignored as well. Sudan, Uganda, and of course Rwanda. These places could have really used some help over the years. Remember the Rwandan genocide from the 90s? Millions dying in a war between the Hutus and Tutsis? And Wakanda just sat by and watched all these horrors go on, without even lifting a finger. Now, I know I'm being a bit dramatic here and mixing some real history with comic book fiction, but I think you see my point. Black Panther and Wakanda got lucky. Their country came across vibranium and turned into an economic and technological powerhouse because of it. And instead of spreading the wealth around the continent or the world, they kept it all to themselves. Greedy bastards, but ultimately, I think that's okay. That's a brave and noble thing to do for your nation even. But I doubt the leftists, globalists, and social Marxists would see it that way. But that's alright, you know, it's just a movie, right? Well, kinda. You see, my main contention at the end here is not only the movie and the character that are currently getting championed by everyone and their mothers online, especially the leftists and SJWs. They love Black Panther and are propping it up as high as possible because it's a black superhero movie. And they forgot this already happened for Marvel with the Blade trilogy 20 years ago. But that's besides the point. What I'm getting at is this. These leftists aren't just supporting Black Panther as a movie, as a story of fiction. They also believe in its characters and their philosophies too. Don't believe me? Take a look at this BuzzFeed tweet then. From BuzzFeed News it reads, "Finally seeing black people ruling their black country, on their black continent minding their, spelt wrong, their black business, thriving with their black dollars and black resources. Hashtag what Black Panther means to me." You see, even leftist garbage sites like BuzzFeed are embracing the black nationalism represented in the film. So this isn't just a matter of it's a fun movie with lots of black people. That's not the only reason they like it. They also like the black nationalism, their isolationism, and the anti-globalism. These are among the many reasons liberals are swooning over this movie, weeks before it's even come out too. Now can you imagine if we replaced the word black with white here? The quote would read, "Finally seeing white people ruling their white country, on their white continent minding their white business, thriving with their white dollars and white resources." Kinda sounds like the United States before 1960s. And we all know this would never fly with the SJWs either, a quote like this. In fact, a white nationalist movie like that, hypothetically, would never even get made. Not even as a joke or as a negative portrayal. It would never happen, and I think that's why this whole situation is rather, I don't know, ironic, hypocritical, cringy, or maybe it's just plain embarrassing for these leftist commentators. What do you guys think? Is Wakanda a black ethnostate? Is Black Panther a black nationalist and very similar to the alt-right? And do the lefties like this movie as a work of fiction, or is it more? Because I think they believe in the black power, black nationalism, and it's just like how they unironically propped up Black Lives Matter for so long. This is just a 2018 iteration of it. Tell me what you think. Comment your thoughts on all this below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.